I would actually put him above DK. I know, shocking. But I mean, I think Siebatcheu, I mean, he's scoring goals in the Europa League. He's shown that he can perform at like a top European level, and he's been like in red hot form. So I would say in current form, I think he deserves a call up. What's up, USMNT fans? This is Rohan, and that's Jake from OneGoal, and we're back with another episode of Around the Box. Today with us, we have none other than Drew from Kicking It with Drew. Welcome to the channel.
What's up, guys? Glad to meet up with you guys again. I'm excited to talk about USMNT stuff. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. And like you said, this is our second collab with Drew. We did a USMNT versus Trinidad preview not too long ago, and that was
Yeah,
fun, right?
that was good, man. I like that.
Definitely. So we hope to do more previews, more collabs with all sorts of content creators on YouTube. But for today, we are focusing on 5 hot USMNT topics. The biggest news, the biggest announcements, the biggest performances. We're going to be debating that on this show. So without further ado, let's get started.
All right, first topic. So with the MLS season fast approaching, I want to know which MLS Academy is the biggest sleeping giant.
Dude, you already know I'm repping it right here. New York Red Bulls, man. They have a fantastic team I have to say, I respect the Red Bull system for what it is. Obviously, as a fan, it's a little bit disappointing that, the New York team doesn't really have that much of an identity, but I think they are developing one and they're putting, some resources and respect into it as they are trying to build out what this team wants to be in terms of developing youth and building a similar system that the other two Red Bull teams play. So you look at players like Caden Clark, Omer Fernandez, Kyle Duncan, who are young U20, U23 prospects that have broken into the first team recently. You have players who have already been established homegrowns, Tyler Adams, Juan Agudelo, and Matt Miazga come to mind. And then you have players who are, on that first team cusp like Jake LaCava and Luca Lewis, who recently joined. So lots of talent. Excited to see them in this high pressing new style that this new coach and the new sporting director are going to bring in. I really think they are a sleeping giant when it comes to academies, and we're going to see the best of the best coming in the coming years.
Yeah, I hope so, because the Red Bulls, when they kind of first established their academy, they did have the best academy in MLS, and then for some reason their scouting department just got it wrong for many years, and as a result, they didn't really have any good up-and-coming prospects coming through the pipeline other than Tyler Adams. But now with the new sporting director, it seems like they've got their ducks in a row, and that pipeline is it's reestablished itself, and there's a lot of exciting young players coming through. And I hope we get to see some new prospects break through this season. Drew, which academy do you think has the most potential?
I gotta go with one of the New York Red Bulls rivals, my boys, the Union. I think it's a little underrated. It's a little beneath the radar. We're producing players like Brendan Aronson, Mark McKenzie, and coming up right now, Anthony Fontana, Paxton Aronson. I think those core players, just to me, scream like, I'm getting excited about this kind of academy. Let's see what other players they got in store coming up through the ranks eventually. But I think they could be, maybe they are a sleeping giant to me.
Yeah, for sure. I think this season is it'll tell us a lot, right? They sold Brendan Aronson and they sold Mark McKenzie, and the telltale sign of whether or not an academy is actually a good academy is if they can replace the players they sell on with other academy players.
Exactly.
That could be make or break season.
Yeah, they got to put it to the test. Like, are they going to be able to fill Brendan Aronson's spot? I think they will with like Anthony Fontana. And then are they going to be able to fill Mark McKenzie's spot? I think they do. They have Brendan Craig, who's a great player.
Yep, exactly.
For sure. Next topic. So I think we all heard today, CBS Sports reported that Siebatcheu declared that he wants to play for the U.S. men's national team. So with that in mind, does he deserve a call-up? Drew, would you call him up in March?
Yes, I have to go ahead with yes. I know maybe there's people who don't think that, but I have to go with yes because, I know he's a little older, 2 or 3 years older than most of our up-and-coming exciting strikers like Josh Sargent or Matthew Hoppe. But nonetheless, I think he's showing that he could score goals. He's showing that he can be consistent. He's scoring goals in Europa League and in the Swiss League as well. I know he's not everyone's ideal striker, but with the USMNT has a lot of games this year. Why not give him a call and see, if someone's injured or if, coming off the bench? It's good to have that depth, and I would like to see him called up at least for one kind of tournament, some kind of roster.
So where do you rank him in our pecking order from what you've seen? Is he above Josh Sargent, below Josh Sargent, but above Jossie Zardes? Like, where does he fall in the pecking order?
Oh yeah, he's definitely above Jossie Zardes and above Altidore, but he's definitely below, Sargent and Matthew Hoppe and probably DARYL DIKE right now.
Okay, so Rohan, with that, would you agree with that pecking order?
I would actually put him above DK. I know, shocking, brutal. I actually really like DK, and I'm so ready to be proved wrong on that. But I mean, I think Siebatcheu, I mean, he's scoring goals in the Europa League. He's shown that he can perform at like a top European level, and he's been like in red hot form. So I would say in current form, I think he deserves a call up. In current form, I think he should, to your point, Drew, be on some sort of roster. But in the future, we'll see if he remains as consistent. But look, so many competitive games in 2021, like he's going to have an opportunity too. So I hope Berhalter gives him a shot.
So in March, right, we can only take 3 tops. So you guys are taking Sargent, Siebatcheu, and then so who's getting left off? Is it Hoppe or is it DK?
Hoppe.
DK. No, Hoppe.
Oh,
Hoppe. I take it.
See, I'm not on the Hoppe train though.
Okay, so Hoppe's getting left off.
Yeah, for me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's strange. Like Hoppe, he burst onto the scene. Everyone's like, Josh Sargent is benched now. Cut Josh Sargent. We have our savior.
Crazy people.
Yeah, he hasn't scored since January, and but I will say that his performances are looking better. But I would agree. I think Hoppe, as far as the pecking order goes, he's at the bottom of the barrel. It's not an indictment of him, but rather just a sign of how good some of the people ahead of him are.
Yeah.
So I think that would give us some good variety with Sargent, Siebatcheu, and DK. There's moving on to the next topic. All right, we all know that competitive games are finally coming, right? We're going to have a lot of them this summer, and inevitably there's going to be a time where we have a PK that's going to decide the game. So 90th minute, we get a PK, 0-0. We need to win the game. Who do you guys have step up to take it?
I don't know. I don't have confidence for penalties for any of our like main guys right now. Like nobody screams to me like, yes, he's gonna score the penalty. He's gonna pull like a Mario Balotelli never miss. Like I just don't see anybody on the roster to me. If I had to, I would just pick Christian Pulisic because he's our best player. Everyone, we idolize him, but I still don't have confidence in him taking penalties. What do you guys think?
What about you, Rohan?
Yeah, actually, I wrote down Christian Pulisic as well, just because he's almost turning into that like pseudo veteran now, where he's kind of been through the rough shit with the USMNT, and he's kind of gonna want to be playing competitive games with a chip on his shoulder. So I would expect him to be like under pressure, like remain cool and get the job done and score that PK. And my other pick is Julianez because he's 1 for 1. So let's keep going.
100% record right there.
Hey, there you go. So keep him coming. Giannis is gonna put it in.
Yeah, that's a good shout. My concern with Pulisic, one, is I don't know if he's making it to the 90th minute, especially given the congested fixture schedule. We're probably having to rotate him pretty heavily. So I think I would go with Tyler Adams, just because me and you, all of us could score a penalty on a professional keeper. It's not that hard. What is hard is the mentality aspect.
Yeah.
And there's no player within the player pool that has a stronger mentality than Tyler Adams.
That's true.
This guy, he was just born different. He's
got that leadership role quality too. Like he's the main dude in the midfield.
Yeah, man.
I trust
future USMNT captain for sure. Future captain.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt. Because I think if we, if Pulisic isn't available, right, I think a lot of people would say Weston McKennie, but I don't trust him to not do something.
It's clumsy to me.
I think he would try something like
sky it. No.
Yeah.
I think I would go with Tyler Adams. He's the most trustworthy person, but I'm not opposed to like that speculative shout in like Uli Yanez or even a Sebastian Soto. That guy is a killer. Those guys don't miss. Whereas Christian Pulisic, something about him, I don't know if I trust him like to come up big in that kind of moment with the pressure on him.
Yeah, I don't think we've really never really seen him in that position yet. But it's going to be interesting to see if we ever get in that position. Who takes
Yeah,
that?
we'll need someone this season to kind of rise up and take on that leadership role and be the guy, the Clint Dempsey, because right now the young squad, we don't have it. But yeah, so moving forward, we saw recently that Jamaica's been kind of recruiting a pretty elite looking team. So we're going to face them in the Ocho this summer. And I want to know, who do you guys think is the more difficult opponent, Canada or Jamaica?
Ooh, I can start. So I mean, I think the Jamaica roster, it's still like, although that roster that was like going around like Twitter, I think it's still a hypothetical one. They haven't locked in all of those players, but and obviously that's a very competitive team and they are incredible athletes. But I still think Canada slightly edges them out. People forget that in 2019, we played Canada twice. The first game we lost, we lost 2-1, where there was a team that had Josh Sargent, Christian Pulisic, I think Weston McKennie, and like Stefan all in that team. And we still lost. Davies scored and they scored a late winner. Or a late goal to seal the victory. And of course, next game we came back, crushed them 4-1, rightfully so. But still, I mean, look, they can still exploit our weaknesses with their speed. And obviously Jonathan David is another player that can kind of rely on. The USMNT is way more well-rounded, but in terms of the biggest threat to us outside of Mexico, I would say probably Canada at this moment.
Okay, what about you,
Yeah,
Drew?
I have to agree with that too. I think Canada is probably more so a little bit ahead of Jamaica. I think Jamaica has good players, obviously like Leon Bailey, Andre Blake is a great goalkeeper that they have. They have this guy Kamar Roof that plays for Rangers right now, who Rangers is like on fire under Steven Gerrard. So he looks like a really good striker that could be dangerous in qualifying. But still, I have to go, like you said, Rohan. Canada looks like they have more talent, more young talent, and just more like proven world-class talent like Alphonso Davies. So,
Yeah, I think Canada definitely has the higher ceiling and they have more potential. But for this summer, I think I would be more afraid of Jamaica just because they're a more experienced squad. They've been around the block more than Canada has, who's very young and they're not proven. So I would be more scared of Jamaica. But it's interesting because both teams offer like the thing that the US is going to struggle with the most, and that's a strong attack. Because I think our defense is the weakest aspect of our team, and both teams are just like lethal in the attack. They both have very pacey wingers, good attackers, and they're both pretty weak defensively.
Jamaica also, they're kind of underdogs and they like that underdog mentality. I think they got to the Gold Cup final, right? Not too long ago.
Yeah, they beat us for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't forget that. So and players like Kamar Lawrence who know the MLS well can take on American players as well from his experience. So yeah, experienced squad.
For sure. Yeah, moving on to the next topic. So Rohan, you spoke about DARYL DIKE earlier. He's been tearing it up in the championship so far this season since he made his move. Where do you think he should go next?
Yeah, let me be clear here. I am not a DARYL DIKE hater. I am a DARYL DIKE lover. I think he is like an American version of Lukaku, where he's got that brute strength, that speed, and the ability to just wallop it into the back of the net. I mean, you saw the goal that he most recently scored. It was incredible. I think he is a striker with great talent. However, staying at Barnsley, well, first, they probably can't afford his now inflated sticker price. And two, I don't think they have enough creativity to support him. So like great strikers can score goals out of nothing, like his most recent long range shot, but consistent, excellent strikers need service to put the ball in the net. So he's going to need to find a team that kind of helps him put himself in the best positions to score. So I do think the championship is a great place for a player with his physicality. So ideally, if I could pick a team, I would love to see him be on Norwich, which of course they're probably going to get, they're going to get promoted. They have a pretty solid lead right now. But they have fantastic attacking midfielders like Cantwell and Buendia who can just fling the ball up to DK and he'll just smash it in. So super exciting there.
Okay. What about you, Drew?
Yeah, I see him as I think he's got all the attributes, the physicality, the strength, the power, the hunger. Like every time he scores a goal, you see the highlights, he's just like, he's loving it. He's loving that he's scoring goals outside of MLS. He's loving it. He's feeding off of it. And I think he has everything made for him to play in EPL. Like maybe not obviously for like Man City or Chelsea, but maybe starting off somewhere like lower, like an Everton kind of team. Arsenal, because they're kind of small teams. But like mid-table like EPL teams. But definitely the championship is molding him into a really great striker, and I want to see him continue to stay abroad. I think he's got everything made there for him.
Yeah, I don't think there's no doubt in my mind that there's no chance he's going back to MLS. He's proven too much already. He's staying across the pond for sure. My concern with him going to the EPL next season is, unless he goes to one of those top level teams, he's going to be on a team that's very similar to Barnsley, where they're just hoofing it up to him and he's having to fight, and he may get like a half chance a game. So with that in mind, I'd much rather see him go to a Spain or a Netherlands, where he is on a team that like actually dominates possession, and it will help him refine the less refined aspects of his game, like his touch and his passing.
Yeah, his skillful ability. Yeah.
It's like in the EPL, like he's only going to be physical, but we need him to develop if he's going to play with the national team. And I think he'd have a better opportunity to do that in either a Spain or Netherlands, where they actually play with the ball.
Okay, everyone. Hope you enjoyed another episode of Around the Box. We sure did. And I just want to give a quick thanks to Drew from Kicking It with Drew. You want to let them know, all the fans, what you're doing on your channel?
Yeah, guys, first of all, thanks for having me again on the channel, meeting up with me again. If you guys don't know me, I'm your boy Drew. You can find me at Kicking It with Drew on YouTube. We cover MLS and USMNT topics. MLS season is starting soon, so better see you on the channel.